We do want to take a break from the World Cup coverage to give you developing news from the Middle East tonight. President Donald Trump says the deal to end fighting with Iran is done and the Strait of Hormuz will open immediately.
Yeah, in fact, that information just part of the president's post on social media. Pakistan, a leading mediator between the U.S. and Iran, has verified the agreement. Fox 4's Shaun Rabb in now with the story. Shaun?
Yeah, and that's the first thing that's different this time, this independent verification. We don't know all the details, but the fighting stops. The Strait of Hormuz opens. There are still questions, though, about Iran's nuclear program. The president says this deal means no nukes for Iran, and that is the very issue that started this war.
United States military began
February 28th, the U.S. war with strikes that killed Iran's supreme leader got underway. Now, 106 days later, President Donald Trump says the war is ending. Posting on social media, the deal with the Islamic Republic of Iran is now complete. Congratulations to all. I hereby authorize the toll-free opening of the Strait of Hormuz and simultaneously herewith authorize the immediate removal of the United States naval blockade. Ships of the world, start your engines. Let the oil flow. And while it won't happen overnight, word that the Strait of Hormuz will open with ships moving freely will certainly take pressure off the global economy, will likely lower fuel prices in the U.S., and the stock market should soar. A deal that could have been shot down when Israel launched strikes at Hezbollah in Lebanon Sunday. Vice President J.D. Vance on the phone with Fox News Channel and Trey Yingst in Jerusalem after the president announced the deal.
What we know is that we've got a lot of work to do, but a very big win for the American people tonight. We're just going to keep on working at it, keep on driving energy prices down, keep on ensuring that that region of the world is less of a basket case.
But Tehran still has a missile program providing support for armed proxies and has a stockpile of highly enriched uranium for its nuclear program.
Destroying the nuclear dust and getting that commitment taken care of is #1 priority.
Jim Hansen is former U.S. Army Special Forces and president of WorldStrat, an information warfare firm. On Fox News Channel's Big Weekend show, he says we have to figure out a way to independently deal with Iran's nuclear missile-making uranium.
The key to all of this is, does this deal give us direct access to the nuclear dust? Strait of Hormuz opening is fantastic. Let's get the oil flowing. Let's get gas prices down. But we need the dust.
The memorandum of understanding between the two countries will focus on de-escalation, maritime security, economic relief, and a framework for those nuclear negotiations.
If they comply with the broader elements of the deal, this entire region, I mean, think about this. For 40 years, if you've heard about the Middle East as an American, you've heard about war, you've heard about terrorism, you've heard about the constant chaos of the region. What the president has done is created the real space to transform that region, cooperation between the Gulf Arab allies and the Israelis.
And we should learn more about the agreement. It's supposed to be finalized Friday in Switzerland. We should learn more and see more this week, which could be a historic week. Fragile right now, but could be the framework to give peace in the Middle East a chance.